2025 GymProLife. All rights reserved. Deen Shah. Simple steps for fitness and well-being. Acknowledgement. To everyone who has followed the GymProLife journey, your passion, feedback, and transformation stories are the inspiration behind this book. This is dedicated to all those striving for health, clarity, and strength, physically and mentally. Introduction. I remember the day it all clicked. I stood in front of the mirror, not judging myself, but reflecting, truly reflecting. I didn't see just the lines of fatigue under my eyes, or the way my posture had slowly collapsed under the weight of everyday stress. What I saw was someone who had drifted too far from their true potential. And I knew right then something had to change. Not tomorrow, not next month. Now, like many of you, I wasn't always consistent. Life's demands, family, work, obligations had become excuses. My energy was low, my motivation scattered, and my health quietly fading in the background. I was existing, not living. But when I began my journey through the GymProLife channel, creating content, connecting with others, and experimenting with lifestyle shifts, something incredible happened. I felt alive again. I discovered a power we all possess, but so few of us activate. It doesn't come from a supplement or a trendy diet. It comes from simple, proven steps, backed by science, guided by discipline, and driven by self-respect. This book is not just a guide, it's a conversation between us. It's built on what I've learned firsthand and from the thousands of others I've connected with. I've sifted through the noise to uncover what truly works, and more importantly, what lasts. In these pages, you'll find stories, strategies, and scientific insights woven together in a way that's easy to absorb, remember, and act on. You don't need a gym membership, fancy equipment, or hours of spare time. You need something far more powerful: clarity, consistency, and belief in yourself. This book is not about chasing perfection. It's about finding joy in progress. It's about learning that small, consistent action, taken daily, can lead to astonishing transformation. You'll learn how to rebuild your energy from the ground up. Design a routine that fits your life, not disrupts it. Let go of limiting beliefs that keep you stuck. Use movement, mindset, and mindfulness as your allies. Look and feel younger, stronger, and more in control. Whether you're just starting or getting back on track, this book is your companion. Each chapter gives you one clear, essential step. Nothing overwhelming, nothing impossible. You'll discover that fitness and well-being don't have to be complicated. In an age where we are constantly pulled in 1,000 directions, this is your invitation to pause, refocus, and reclaim your strength and well-being. You only have one life. Cherish it, nourish it, live it fully. Let's begin this journey, one simple step at a time. Deen Shah. True strength isn't built in the gym, it's built in the quiet moments you choose. Discipline over doubt, consistency over chaos, and self-respect over shortcuts. Chapter 1. The Wake-Up Call. Why most people fail to get fit. It often begins subtly. You skip one workout. You grab a takeaway meal because you're too tired to cook. You tell yourself you'll start Monday, but then Monday comes and goes. Before long, a year has passed, and you hardly recognize the person staring back at you. I've lived it, and I've seen it in thousands of others. We don't just fall out of fitness, we drift away from it, slowly, silently, and almost unconsciously. Then one day something snaps. For me, it wasn't a major health scare or a dramatic breakdown. It was something far simpler, yet profoundly powerful, the realization that I was wasting my potential. I remember waking up one morning and feeling like I hadn't truly rested. My body ached from inactivity. My mind was foggy. And yet I wasn't even doing that much. Life had become this blur of low-energy sugar cravings, late nights, and early regrets. That moment became my wake-up call. And it's the same call echoing through the lives of millions today. Why do so many people fail to get fit? Contrary to popular belief, it's not because people are lazy or unmotivated. It's because most of us are chasing the wrong things. Quick results, unrealistic goals, and unsustainable routines. And when we fall short, we blame ourselves. But fitness isn't a 30-day challenge. It's not a punishment for enjoying food or a race to fit into last year's jeans. Fitness is a lifestyle shift rooted in self-respect, not self-hate. Here are the 3 most common reasons people fail to get fit, and why your story doesn't have to follow the same path. 1. Information overload equal to inaction. We live in a world where there are more fitness gurus, fad diets, and life hacks than ever before. Paradoxically, this makes people feel more stuck. Brain doesn't thrive on complexity, it thrives on clarity. According to a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research, people presented with too many health options often delay taking any action at all. The solution? Simplify. One clear goal, one small step, one habit at a time. 2. Chasing motivation instead of building discipline motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days you'll feel inspired, other days you won't. The problem is that many wait for the perfect mood to work out or eat clean. Science shows that discipline, not motivation, is the real driver of long-term success. In fact, a study by Stanford University found that people who rely on habits instead of willpower are more likely to maintain fitness routines for life. The truth? Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. 3. The all-or-nothing mentality. This mindset kills progress. One missed workout becomes I've ruined the whole week. One slice of cake becomes I'll start again next month. But health isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. Fitness is forgiving if you let it be. You don't have to get it right every day. You just have to keep showing up. The power of awareness. My real breakthrough didn't come from a workout plan or a supplement. It came from awareness. I began observing my habits, my triggers, and my energy levels. I realized that my body wasn't the problem. My patterns were. Once I accepted this truth, everything began to change. I stopped beating myself up. I started making decisions with intention, and gradually the fog lifted. I began moving more, sleeping better, thinking clearer, feeling younger. This is what I want for you. A promise to yourself. As you turn each page in this book, I want you to remember you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too old or too far gone. All you need is a fresh start and a promise to yourself. Not a promise to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, but a promise to respect your body, nourish your mind, and commit to a lifestyle that loves you back. This chapter is your first step, your wake-up call. And just like I did, you can answer it today. Let's begin. Chapter 2. Mindset before muscles, the mental foundation. Before any visible change ever occurs in your body, something must shift in your mind. It's a truth I resisted for a long time. Like many people, I used to believe that if I could just force myself to work out enough or eat clean for long enough, everything else would fall into place. But it didn't. Not until I finally realized your body follows where your mind leads. Fitness is not just a physical transformation, it's a mental revolution. And unless your mindset is aligned with your goals, your muscles won't grow, your energy won't return, and your habits won't stick. The inner game of fitness. In the beginning, I was chasing results, better abs, more energy, a sharper jawline. But I was ignoring the emotional baggage I was carrying. Stress, guilt, self-doubt, and fear of failure. These weren't physical weights, but they were far heavier than any dumbbell I could lift. One morning, I sat down and asked myself a brutally honest question. Why do I want this? Not why do I want abs, or why do I want to look fit in pictures, but why do I want to feel better? Why now? Why does this matter? When you dig deep and uncover your real why, you discover something far more powerful than a temporary goal. You find a purpose. And that purpose is what keeps you going when life gets messy. Your mind, as the gym researchers from the University of Chicago ran a fascinating experiment. They split people into 3 groups who all wanted to improve their basketball free throws. One group practiced daily. Another group mentally visualized shooting perfect free throws. The third group did nothing. Amazingly, the group that only visualized their shots improved nearly as much as the group that physically practiced. Why? Because the brain doesn't differentiate much between thought and action when rehearsing a skill. Mental repetition literally rewires neural circuits. That's how powerful mindset is. Before your body can change, your mind must believe it's possible and begin to practice success mentally. Fixed versus growth mindset. Dr. Carol Dweck, a Stanford psychologist, coined the terms fixed mindset and growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, I'm not fit, I've always been this way, or it's too late for me. A growth mindset says, I can learn, I can improve, and I haven't mastered this yet. Those three letters, yet, can change your life. When I stopped seeing failure as a sign to quit and started seeing it as feedback, everything shifted. Missing a workout wasn't failure. It was a reminder to adjust, refocus, and recommit. That's the growth mindset in action. Your environment shapes your mindset. It's hard to grow when you're surrounded by negativity, judgment, or discouragement. If you're constantly around people who mock your goals or tempt your worst habits, success becomes an uphill battle. That's why I began curating my environment. I cleaned out my social media feeds. I unsubscribed from toxic voices. I followed fitness mentors who inspired me, not shamed me. I surrounded myself, even virtually, with energy that pulled me forward. You don't have to go it alone. You just have to be intentional about the voices you allow into your headspace, visualizing the future you. One of the most powerful tools I used was visualization. Not just imagining myself with more energy, but truly feeling what it would be like to move through life strong, confident, and calm. Every morning before touching my phone, I'd close my eyes and see myself walking taller, breathing deeply, smiling more, and moving with purpose. It took less than 5 minutes, but over time, it rewired my identity. This wasn't some positive thinking gimmick. Studies show that athletes, CEOs, and even surgeons who practice visualization perform better. The mind rehearses success before the body manifests it. Belief is the real starting point. You may not have six-pack abs. You may not have a clean diet yet. But if you have belief, even the tiniest spark of it, you have everything you need to begin. The truth is, you don't need to be motivated. You need to be willing to start small, willing to show up, willing to believe you're worth the effort. Because you are. Your fitness journey doesn't start in the gym. It starts here, in your mind, in your heart. In the small, quiet decision that says, I will not give up on myself. Now that your mindset is shifting, the next step is rest, not reps. Let's talk about sleep, the secret weapon of transformation, in the next chapter. Chapter 3, Sleep, the Secret Weapon. There was a time I thought success meant sleeping less. The grind culture glorified burning the midnight oil, waking up before sunrise, and powering through fatigue with caffeine and willpower. I believed the lie that rest was for the weak, and that true champions could function on 4 hours of sleep and ambition alone. But I paid the price. I was training hard, eating right, and staying consistent. Yet I was plateauing. No muscle gains, no fat loss. My mood was off. My energy levels were unpredictable. And worst of all, I couldn't figure out why. Until one day, it hit me. I was skipping the most essential step in my recovery process. Sleep. Why sleep is the foundation of fitness. You can train like an athlete and eat like a nutritionist, but if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. And if you're not recovering, you're not improving. Sleep is where the magic happens. It's during deep sleep that your body produces growth hormone, which helps repair muscles, burn fat, and regulate metabolism. Your immune system resets, your brain clears out toxins, and your nervous system balances itself. Lack of sleep, even just a few hours, raises cortisol, your stress hormone, and lowers testosterone, which is critical for both men and women in building lean muscle and staying energetic. In one study published in The Lancet, Sleep-deprived athletes experience 30% slower reaction times, reduced strength, and higher perceived effort during workouts. In simple terms, you work harder, feel worse, and get fewer results. The weight gain connection. Have you ever noticed how much harder it is to resist cravings when you're tired? That's not weakness, it's biochemistry. Sleep deprivation disrupts two crucial hormones, ghrelin, which makes you feel hungry, and leptin, which tells you when you're full. When you're sleep-deprived, ghrelin increases and leptin decreases. The result? You eat more, especially carbs and sugar, and your body stores more fat. Research from the University of Chicago found that just 4 nights of poor sleep led to a 24% increase in hunger and a 33% preference for junk food in healthy adults. In other words, sleep is your natural appetite suppressor and fat burner, if you let it work. Mental clarity and emotional balance. Beyond the physical, sleep also sharpens your mind and stabilizes your emotions. It boosts focus, willpower, and decision-making. All essential traits when you're trying to stick to a fitness routine or change a habit. Without proper sleep, your brain is foggy. Your motivation drops. You become reactive instead of intentional. It becomes far too easy to skip a workout or abandon a plan because you just don't feel like it. A rested brain is a disciplined brain. How I rewired my sleep habits. My transformation began not with a new supplement or a harder workout, but with a bedtime alarm. Yes, a bedtime alarm. Just like I used to set alarms to wake up early, I started setting one to remind myself it was time to disconnect and prepare for sleep. That small change rewired my nights and my life. I stopped scrolling on my phone after 9 p.m. I dimmed the lights. I played calming music or listened to a short meditation. I read, reflected, and gradually trained my body to associate nighttime with deep rest, not mental stimulation. It wasn't perfect at first, but over time I started waking up before my alarm, feeling sharp, strong, and grounded. My workouts improved, my mood stabilized, and my overall well-being reached a level I never thought possible. Simple sleep strategies that work. You don't need a fancy mattress or a sleep supplement to change your sleep game. Here are a few timeless practices that truly work. Keep your room dark and cool to promote melatonin production. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. to prevent restlessness at night. Stick to a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends. Use your bed only for sleep and rest, not Netflix or emails. Wind down with a nighttime ritual, reading, breathing, gratitude journaling. These aren't hacks, they're habits. And they work if you stay consistent. You can't out-train poor sleep. Here's the truth: you can skip a workout and still be healthy. But you cannot skip sleep and expect to function at your best. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not negotiable. It is a pillar of fitness and longevity. When you respect your body enough to give it the rest it deserves, it rewards you with energy, clarity, strength, and resilience. I learned that lesson the hard way. I hope you won't have to. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the fuel your body craves most, nutrition made simple. Because once you're resting well, it's time to eat with intention. Let's continue the journey. Chapter 4. Nutrition made simple, fueling the machine. You wouldn't pour soda into a Ferrari and expect it to perform like a race car. Yet that's how many of us treat our bodies, feeding them fast food, skipping meals, and then wondering why we feel sluggish, bloated, and drained. I used to think nutrition was complicated. Like many people, I got lost in a sea of conflicting advice: low carb, high carb, intermittent fasting, 6 meals a day, no carbs after 6 p.m., eat like a caveman, drink shakes, count every calorie. I tried it all, and I was exhausted, not just physically, but mentally. What finally worked for me wasn't another diet plan. It was this simple shift in thinking: food is fuel, not punishment or pleasure. It's performance. The relationship shift from restriction to respect for years. I had an unhealthy relationship with food. I saw it as something to control, restrict, or feel guilty about. But once I started respecting my body, everything changed. I began asking myself one powerful question before every meal. Is this going to help me or hurt me? That one question removed the guilt and replaced it with awareness. It helped me reconnect with my body's needs, not just my cravings or habits. I started to see food for what it truly is: information for my cells, energy for my workouts, and medicine for my mind. The science of simplicity. You don't need a PhD in nutrition to eat well. You need to understand a few timeless truths, truths backed by science and tested in real life. Your body needs macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs in balance. It thrives on micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants from real, whole foods. And it performs best when blood sugar is stable, digestion is smooth, and inflammation is low. That's it. That's the core of everything. Once I grasped that, I stopped chasing perfect meals and focused on progress, not perfection. Protein, the building block protein, is more than just for bodybuilders. It's essential for muscle repair, immune function, and hormone balance. It also keeps you feeling full and reduces cravings. Aim to have a protein source with every meal, whether it's eggs, lentils, chicken, tofu, fish, or Greek yogurt. Your body breaks down muscle every day. Protein helps rebuild it stronger. Healthy fats, the brain and hormone booster. For a long time, fats were demonized. But healthy fats are vital for brain health, energy, and hormonal balance. I found that incorporating avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and omega-3 rich fish dramatically improved my mood and mental clarity. Fat doesn't make you fat. Overeating processed food and sugar does. Smart carbs, energy with purpose carbs, aren't the enemy. They're your body's preferred energy source, especially if you're active. The key is choosing complex carbs that digest slowly and provide fiber, like oats, sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, fruit, and vegetables. These keep your blood sugar steady and your energy consistent throughout the day. The carbs that cause weight gain, the refined, sugary, processed ones with no fiber, like pastries, white bread, sugary drinks, and snacks. Hydration, the forgotten nutrient. Most people walk around mildly dehydrated and wonder why they're tired, cranky, and craving sugar. Water is crucial for digestion, nutrient absorption, joint health, and even fat burning. I made it a rule: drink a tall glass of water first thing every morning and sip consistently throughout the day. The difference was immediate: more energy, fewer headaches, better workouts, clearer skin, eating with intention, not emotion. One of the biggest breakthroughs in my nutrition journey came when I stopped eating out of boredom, stress, or habit. Emotional eating is real, and for many of us, it's tied to comfort and routine. To break the cycle, I paused before I ate and asked, am I truly hungry, or am I just trying to feel something? That awareness helped me return to intuitive eating. Not mindless, not restrictive, just real and respectful. Meal timing, rhythm over rigidity. You don't need to eat 6 times a day. You don't need to fast for 16 hours. What you need is consistency. I found that eating at similar times each day helped my digestion and energy stabilize. I also learned to stop eating late at night. It was messing with my sleep and recovery. Instead of obsessing over when to eat, focus on what you eat and how you feel after. Your body will tell you everything you need to know if you listen. From diet to lifestyle. The most important shift I made: I stopped dieting. Diets are temporary. Lifestyles are sustainable. Once I made nutrition a part of who I was, not just something I did, it became effortless. I stopped counting everything. I started enjoying my meals again. I had more energy. My body composition improved, and my relationship with food became peaceful and empowering. Your fuel equal to your future. Every cell in your body is made from what you eat. Every thought, every emotion, every workout, it's all impacted by the food you fuel with. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Just start with one change: swapping a sugary drink for water, adding a handful of greens to your plate, eating protein with breakfast. Small changes build big momentum. You are the machine. Nutrition is your fuel, and when you fuel right, you live right. In the next chapter, we'll explore the natural partner to good nutrition, movement, but not in a punishing way, in a healing, energizing way. Because movement is medicine. Let's keep going. Chapter 5. Movement is medicine. When I was younger, I thought of exercise as punishment. Run because you ate too much. Do crunches to burn off guilt. Go harder, longer, faster, or else you're failing. But over time, I came to understand something radically different. Movement isn't punishment. It's medicine. It's not about earning your food or fixing your flaws. It's about healing, energizing, and connecting with your body in the most natural way possible. And once I embraced movement as nourishment, not punishment, everything changed. The human body was designed to move. We weren't built to sit in chairs, stare at screens, and barely walk 3,000 steps a day. Our bodies are engineered for motion, climbing, walking, bending, stretching, and lifting. Yet the modern lifestyle encourages stillness. We wake up and sit. We work and sit. We unwind and sit some more. The result? Stiff joints, chronic pain, fatigue, weight gain, and mood swings. But here's the good news. Just a little movement goes a long way. Science-backed benefits of daily movement research from the American Heart Association and Harvard Medical School shows that even 20 to 30 minutes of moderate movement per day can reduce the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. It can improve memory and brain function, lower anxiety and depression, boost energy and mood through endorphins, and enhance posture, sleep, and digestion. And one of the most underrated benefits? Confidence. When you move regularly, you carry yourself differently. You feel capable, grounded, and alive. Finding your flow. Not everyone needs a gym for years. I thought I had to go to the gym, lift heavy weights, or follow strict routines to be fit. But life isn't one size fits all. Some of the healthiest people I've met don't step foot in a gym. They hike. They dance. They garden. They practice yoga. They walk 10,000 steps a day. What matters isn't the type of movement. It's the consistency. I call it your movement medicine. It's the activity that energizes you, not drains you. It's the one that fits your lifestyle, your personality, and your needs. For me, it's a combination. Strength training to feel powerful, walking to clear my mind, stretching to stay limber, and the occasional sprint session to challenge myself. For you, it might be different, and that's perfect. Don't wait for motivation, create momentum. One of the most common excuses I hear is, I just don't feel motivated. Here's the truth. Movement creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. Stand up, stretch, take a 5-minute walk, do 10 bodyweight squats. That first action sends a signal to your brain, we're moving forward. It builds momentum, and momentum becomes habit. Movement for mental health. I can't overstate this. Regular movement has been one of the most powerful tools for managing my stress, anxiety, and emotional well-being. When I move, I process emotions. I release tension. I gain clarity. Studies show that physical activity increases levels of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, your natural mood boosters. It also helps regulate cortisol, the stress hormone. One 20-minute walk can be more effective than a strong cup of coffee or scrolling through your phone. It reconnects you with your body and the present moment. Start small. Stay consistent. You don't need a 90-minute workout. You don't need to train like an athlete. Start with 10 minutes a day. Move your body with kindness. Build the habit and let it grow. Here's what helped me stay consistent. I chose movement I enjoyed instead of forcing what I hated. I scheduled it like an appointment because movement is self-respect. I tracked my progress, not perfection. And I celebrated small wins. Every rep, every walk, every step counted. Your body is not a machine. It's a miracle. One of the biggest mindset shifts I had was learning to move out of love, not hate. I stopped forcing my body to fit into an image and started honoring it with movement. You don't need to punish your body to transform it. You need to reconnect with it, move it with purpose, and treat it with care. Movement is not just about burning calories. It's about reclaiming your strength, your health, your peace, and your identity. The next step in your transformation is consistency, the bridge between intention and results. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to stay on track, even when life gets busy, messy, or uncertain. You're doing amazing. Let's keep going, step by step. Chapter 6. Consistency over perfection. I used to think that success in health and fitness came from being perfect. Perfect diet, perfect workout, perfect schedule. But that belief didn't drive me forward. It held me hostage. Perfection made me give up on myself every time I slipped. One missed workout turned into a missed week. One cheat meal spiraled into guilt and shame. I kept starting over, convinced I had failed. But then I had a quiet realization. It's not perfection that changes your life. It's consistency. The power of showing up. The people who achieve lasting transformation aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who keep showing up. Even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching. Consistency doesn't mean intensity. It means reliability. It means making health and movement a non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth or getting dressed in the morning. It becomes a part of your identity. I learned that I didn't need to do everything perfectly. I just needed to do something every day. Why most people give up too soon. The fitness world is filled with all or nothing thinking. If you can't do the full workout, don't bother. If you didn't eat clean all day, the day is ruined. This mindset creates burnout, not progress. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that building a new habit takes, on average, 66 days, not 21, as commonly believed. And those who stuck with it weren't the ones who were perfect. They were the ones who got back on track after setbacks. Real growth happens in the messy middle, in the days when you're tired, stressed, and tempted to quit, but you choose to move anyway. Ritual over motivation. One of the best decisions I ever made was to stop relying on motivation and start building rituals. Motivation is fleeting, but rituals are dependable. I created a simple rule: move my body every day, no matter what. It didn't have to be a full workout. Some days it was a 10-minute stretch. Other days it was a walk, a workout, or a short yoga flow. That ritual became my anchor. It reminded me progress lives in repetition, not random bursts of effort. Tracking progress the right way. For a long time, I tracked everything: macros, calories, reps, steps, weight. But I didn't feel better. I felt more pressure. Then I changed my approach. Instead of obsessing over data, I started tracking my consistency. How many days did I show up this week? How did I feel after each session? Was I sleeping better? Was my mood improving? I focused on how I felt, not just how I looked. And that changed everything. When you measure consistency instead of perfection, you become unstoppable. The compound effect of small win success isn't a dramatic event. It's the result of small actions repeated daily. A 15-minute walk each morning, choosing water over soda, sleeping an extra hour, stretching instead of scrolling. These small wins add up. Author Darren Hardy calls this the compound effect, the principle that tiny, smart decisions done consistently create massive results over time. You don't have to sprint. You just have to stay on the path. Grace over guilt. You will miss days. You will slip up. You'll overeat, skip workouts, and feel off track. That's life. That's human. But the key is to respond with grace, not guilt. Guilt says, I messed up. I'm a failure. Grace says, I messed up. I'm learning. One bad day doesn't undo your progress. One choice doesn't define your worth. The only way you lose is by quitting. Consistency means getting back on track faster each time. It means choosing next best actions, not perfection. Identity before outcome. When I stopped trying to get fit and started identifying as someone who lives a healthy lifestyle, everything changed. I didn't wait to feel like an athlete. I acted like one. I didn't wait to be fit. I behaved like someone who respects their body. Your actions reflect your identity. And when your identity shifts, your results follow. Build the streak, not the pressure. Instead of chasing the perfect week, chase the streak. One day, then another, then another. Build momentum. Stack wins. Create proof for yourself that you're becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Fitness isn't a race. It's a rhythm. Fall in love with the rhythm, and you'll never need another reset. In the next chapter, we'll dive into one of the biggest hidden roadblocks to progress, stress, and how the hormone cortisol may be silently sabotaging your goals. Keep going. You're already winning. Chapter 7, Stress and Cortisol, the Hidden Saboteur. I was doing everything right, at least on the surface. I was working out regularly, eating clean, getting better sleep, and staying consistent. Yet something still felt off. My energy dipped during the day, stubborn fat refused to budge, and my mood felt unpredictable. That's when I discovered the invisible saboteur that was silently hijacking my progress, stress, and its biochemical sidekick, cortisol. We often associate stress with emotion, feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or tense. But stress isn't just mental, it's chemical, and it affects every system in your body. And the truth is, no matter how perfect your fitness plan is, if you don't learn how to manage stress, your body will remain in a constant state of resistance. What is cortisol, and why should you care? Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, and for good reason. It's produced by your adrenal glands in response to physical or emotional stress. In small doses, cortisol is helpful. It helps you wake up in the morning, respond to danger, and regulate blood sugar. But when cortisol is constantly elevated due to long-term stress, poor sleep, overtraining, or emotional trauma, it becomes toxic. High cortisol levels can lead to increased belly fat, muscle breakdown, poor digestion, a weakened immune system, intense cravings for sugary and salty foods, brain fog, mood swings, and disrupted sleep. It's your body's way of saying, I don't feel safe. I'm holding on to everything, fat, energy, tension, until I feel stable again. When I realized stress was holding me back, there was a point in my journey where I was training harder, but feeling worse. I wasn't recovering well. I was irritable. My progress slowed to a crawl. Out of frustration, I started digging deeper, not into my workouts, but into my nervous system. I learned that even though I was pushing forward physically, my body was stuck in fight or flight mode, constantly flooded with cortisol, inflamed, and exhausted. No amount of clean eating or gym time could undo what stress was doing internally. That was the turning point. You can't hustle through stress. You have to heal. Most of us are walking around in a low-grade stress state without even realizing it. Constant notifications, money worries, emotional baggage, deadlines, arguments, perfectionism, it all builds up. And your body doesn't differentiate between a missed deadline and a wild animal chasing you. When cortisol stays elevated, it blocks fat loss, suppresses your immune system, and wrecks your hormonal balance. It keeps your body in survival mode, not growth mode. Healing starts when you begin creating safety, mentally, emotionally, and physically. How I lowered my cortisol. Naturally, what helped me most were small, consistent changes that shifted my body and mind into a state of calm. I started each morning with quiet time. No phone, no noise, just breath and presence. I walked outside daily, letting natural light reset my circadian rhythm. I practiced deep breathing, especially during stressful moments. I swapped intense workouts for restorative movement on days I felt depleted. I journaled to clear out mental clutter. Most importantly, I learned to say no, not to others, but to the pressure I put on myself to always be on. These small actions began sending my body a new message. You are safe. You can relax. You don't need to hold on to stress. Over time, I noticed the change. My energy improved. I slept more deeply. The fat around my midsection that had resisted for months started to melt, not from pushing harder, but from releasing the stress that was blocking my progress. Stress and the gut connection. I also discovered how deeply stress affects gut health. When you're constantly stressed, digestion slows down. Nutrients aren't absorbed properly. You feel bloated, uncomfortable, or irregular. That's because when the body is in fight or flight mode, blood is directed away from the digestive system and toward the muscles and brain, preparing you for a perceived threat. If that state becomes chronic, your gut health deteriorates. So managing stress isn't just about calming the mind, it's essential for how your entire body functions, including how you process and benefit from your nutrition. Training smart, not just hard. Another critical lesson I learned was that overtraining adds to the stress pile. I used to think more training meant faster results, but the truth is, if your body is already stressed, intense workouts become another form of pressure. I learned to listen to my body. I began to alternate hard training days with active recovery and mobility work. I no longer used workouts to punish myself. I used them to support myself. When you train smart, you work with your body, not against it. Peace is the new power in a world that glorifies the hustle. Choosing peace is radical. But peace is not passivity. It's power. It allows your nervous system to settle. It invites your body to heal. It creates the conditions for long-term health, strength, and clarity. When your stress is managed, your energy returns. Your cravings reduce. Your hormones balance. Your focus sharpens. Your transformation becomes sustainable. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. You need to be peaceful. You need to be patient with yourself. In the next chapter, we'll look at one of the most overlooked yet essential aspects of fitness: hydration and energy flow. Because without proper hydration, even the healthiest plan falls short. You're doing great. Let's keep going. One step, one breath, one victory at a time. Chapter 8. Hydration and Energy Flow. There's a moment I'll never forget. I was midway through a workout, nothing too intense, just a solid session, and suddenly I hit a wall. My strength vanished, my head felt heavy, and I could barely concentrate. I hadn't skipped a meal. I'd had a good night's sleep, but something was off. Later that day, I realized what I had overlooked. I was dehydrated. It's a simple oversight, but one that affects millions of people every single day. In our obsession with food, workouts, supplements, and sleep, we often forget one of the most foundational elements of health: water. Hydration is the silent driver of your energy, metabolism, brain power, and physical performance. Without it, nothing in your body functions optimally. Water is life, and when you treat it that way, everything begins to change. Why water matters more than you think. Your body is more than 60% water. Your brain is almost 75% water. Your blood, your cells, your organs. Every system depends on hydration to work properly. Water regulates body temperature, transports nutrients, supports digestion, cushions joints, flushes out toxins, and even improves skin elasticity and mood. When you're dehydrated, your body enters a survival state, holding on to fat, slowing down metabolism, increasing fatigue, and creating false hunger signals. Even a 2% drop in hydration can impair physical performance, reduce endurance, and cause mental fog. You may think you're tired or hungry, but you're actually just thirsty. The hidden signs of dehydration: I used to assume I was drinking enough, but I didn't realize dehydration can sneak up on you. You don't have to feel parched to be running low. If you often feel sluggish in the morning, experience muscle cramps, suffer from dry skin, get frequent headaches, or struggle with focus, there's a good chance hydration is the missing link. And don't rely solely on thirst. By the time you're thirsty, you're already slightly dehydrated. Hydration and energy flow. Hydration does more than just keep you alive. It keeps you energized. When you drink enough water, your blood flows more efficiently, delivering oxygen and nutrients to your muscles and brain. This is what I call energy flow, the smooth circulation of life force energy through your body. Proper hydration boosts endurance, improves exercise recovery, and even enhances your mental clarity and alertness throughout the day. It helps maintain electrolyte balance, which is key for muscle contractions, nerve signals, and avoiding burnout during workouts. When you're well hydrated, you move better, think sharper, and feel more alive. How I transformed my hydration habits. Like most people, I used to drink only when I felt thirsty or during meals. But once I learned how crucial water was to my energy and results, I made hydration a daily ritual. I began each day with a large glass of water before anything else, even coffee. I carried a reusable water bottle everywhere and took sips throughout the day. I flavored water with lemon, cucumber, or mint to make it more enjoyable. I made it a rule to hydrate before, during, and after workouts. Within just a week, I felt more focused. My skin cleared up, my digestion improved, and the afternoon crash that once hit me like a wave, it disappeared. Hydration isn't just about water. While plain water is ideal, you can also hydrate through whole foods, especially fruits and vegetables. Foods like watermelon, cucumber, celery, oranges, and lettuce contain high water content and help maintain hydration levels. Sometimes, especially after intense workouts or sweating, your body needs more than just water. It needs electrolytes like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium to restore balance. Coconut water, sea salt, and warm water, or a homemade electrolyte mix can help. Hydration is a system, not a sip. Practical tips to stay hydrated instead of counting glasses. I started paying attention to how I felt and how my body responded. Clear or light yellow urine was a simple sign I was doing well. Darker color, time to drink more. I also set reminders on my phone every couple of hours to take a few sips. When I traveled or got busy, I made hydration a non-negotiable habit, just like brushing my teeth. The shift didn't happen overnight, but once I connected water to how I felt, it became second nature. A flowing body is a thriving body. When you're hydrated, your body flows, your energy flows, your thoughts flow. You feel lighter, cleaner, sharper, and stronger. You don't need fancy supplements or energy drinks. You need to respect the most essential fuel nature has given us, clean water. Hydration is not a fitness tip. It's a foundational principle. Without it, everything else suffers. With it, your body begins to operate at its highest potential. In the next chapter, we'll explore the power of breathwork and recovery, the often ignored force that connects body, mind, and nervous system. You've learned to hydrate your cells. Now it's time to oxygenate your soul. Let's keep the momentum flowing. Chapter 9. Breathwork and Recovery. There's something most of us do over 20,000 times a day, without thinking. It's free, always available, and directly linked to your energy, focus, strength, and inner calm. It's your breath. For the longest time, I overlooked it. I trained hard. I ate well. I slept better. But I never paid attention to my breathing. It was background noise, automatic, passive. But once I learned to breathe with intention, everything changed. My workouts improved, my stress reduced, my sleep deepened, and my ability to recover accelerated. Breath, I discovered, is not just an unconscious function. It's a bridge between the body and the mind. The forgotten tool for energy and focus. Your breath is the remote control of your nervous system. Shallow, rapid breathing triggers your fight or flight response, raising cortisol, tightening muscles, and increasing anxiety. Deep, slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the state of rest, repair, and recovery. When you're stressed, breathing becomes short and erratic. When you're calm, breathing becomes deep and rhythmic. Most people breathe only into the chest, never fully engaging the diaphragm, the large muscle beneath your lungs responsible for efficient oxygen exchange. This limits your oxygen intake, weakens your posture, and reduces mental clarity. But with a few simple adjustments, breath becomes your most powerful performance enhancer. How I discovered breathwork. It started during a yoga session. The instructor kept repeating, inhale deeply, exhale slowly. At first, I brushed it off. But after a few minutes of focused breathing, something shifted. My body relaxed. My thoughts quieted. I felt grounded, present in a way I hadn't felt in years. That experience led me to explore more structured breathwork practices. From box breathing to diaphragmatic breathing, I began integrating these techniques into my daily life. I use them before workouts to increase focus, during stressful moments to calm my nerves, and at night to prepare for sleep. Breath became my reset button. Anytime, anywhere. Recovery, the missing piece in most fitness plans. If you're like I was, you probably believe that more workouts equal more progress. But your body doesn't grow during the workout. It grows during recovery. Training breaks down muscle tissue. Recovery rebuilds it stronger. Without adequate recovery, your body stays in a state of depletion, leading to fatigue, injury, and burnout. I used to push through pain and ignore the signs of overtraining, constant soreness, sleep disturbances, mood swings, and stalled progress. I thought rest was weakness, but now I know better. Recovery is training. Breath plus recovery equal to regeneration. Combining intentional breathing with proper recovery is like hitting the reset button on your nervous system. It tells your body you are safe. You can heal. You don't need to hold tension anymore. I began using simple breathing techniques after my workouts. I would sit quietly for just 5 minutes, close my eyes, and inhale slowly through my nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold again for 4. This is known as box breathing. It grounded me. It lowered my heart rate. It accelerated my recovery. On rest days, I incorporated breath work into stretching sessions or while lying in bed. My body felt more refreshed. My sleep became deeper. My mind felt lighter. Active recovery days rest doesn't always mean doing nothing. Active recovery, low-intensity movement like walking, stretching, or mobility work, helps flush out lactic acid, increases circulation, and supports mental well-being. I learned to listen to my body. Some days I needed to push. Other days I needed to pause. Honoring that rhythm created longevity in my fitness journey. It also gave me a deeper appreciation for how intelligent and responsive the human body really is when we allow it space to heal. Your breath is daily therapy now. Before I tackle any challenge, physical, mental, or emotional, I come back to my breath. A few deep inhales, a long, controlled exhale, and suddenly the noise fades. The tension melts, the clarity returns. I've taught this to friends, clients, even children. And every time, the result is the same: calmness, focus, empowerment. You don't need expensive tools or apps. You just need presence and your lungs. Simple breath practice to try. One of the easiest practices I recommend is 4 to 7-8. Breathing, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 7 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Do this for 4 to 5 cycles, especially in the evening or during stressful moments. It lowers cortisol, balances the heart rate, and brings your body back into a healing state. Breathe better, live better. In the end, fitness isn't just about lifting more or running faster. It's about balance, presence, and vitality. Breath and recovery are essential pillars of that process. When you learn to breathe well and rest well, you recover faster. You train smarter. You feel lighter, clearer, stronger. You return to your natural rhythm. In the next chapter, we'll explore how discipline and routine create the structure you need to sustain your progress, even on days when motivation disappears. Chapter 10. The Power of Discipline and Routine. If motivation is the spark, discipline is the firewood. It's what keeps the flame alive long after the initial excitement fades. There were times I felt unstoppable, motivated, focused, and ready to take on the world. And then there were the other days, the ones where the alarm felt like an insult, where I questioned everything, where I didn't want to move, eat right, or even care. It was on those days that I learned the real secret to transformation, discipline, and routine. Not hype, not hacks, just quiet, repeated, intentional action. Discipline is self-respect in action. We often think of discipline as restriction or as something harsh and rigid. But real discipline is an act of self-respect. It says, I'm worth showing up for. It's the voice that reminds you, even on hard days, that your goals matter, that your health matters, that your future self is depending on the choices you make right now. When I stopped treating discipline as punishment and started seeing it as a gift I give myself, everything shifted. I didn't need to feel like it. I just needed to honor the routine I had created. Why routine builds freedom, not boredom. There's a myth that routines are boring, that doing the same things every day turns life into a dull cycle. But I discovered the opposite. The more structured my daily rhythm became, the more mental freedom I gained. I didn't waste time debating what to eat or when to train. I didn't need to find time for fitness or mindfulness. It was already part of my day, just like brushing my teeth. Routines automate discipline. They remove emotion from the equation and replace it with clarity and consistency. That's freedom. Morning routines. How you start is how you live. One of the most powerful decisions I made was to design a consistent morning routine. I began each day with a few minutes of deep breathing. Then I drank water. I moved my body, even just stretching or walking. I reviewed my goals. I fed my mind with something uplifting, whether it was a podcast, a chapter of a book, or a few lines of gratitude. This morning rhythm anchored me. It made the rest of the day smoother, more intentional, less reactive. You don't need a 2-hour ritual. Even 20 to 30 minutes of intentional action can set the tone for everything that follows. Discipline isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what matters. There's a reason most people start strong and fall off. They try to do too much, too soon. They load their schedule with workouts, meal plans, supplements, journaling, and meditation all at once, and then collapse under the weight of it. True discipline is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most, even when it's inconvenient. Some days, that might mean a full workout. Other days, it might mean choosing a healthy meal, going for a walk, or drinking enough water. What matters is that you don't break the chain. Small, consistent actions, done daily, beat big efforts that burn out quickly. What I learned from missing days, yes, I missed days. I still do. But the difference now is that I don't let a missed day turn into a missed week. I don't spiral into guilt. I return to my routine calmly, without drama. This is where discipline meets grace. You're not meant to be perfect. You're meant to return, again and again. That's the strength of routine. It welcomes you back without judgment. Evening routines, closing the loop. Just as my mornings set me up for success, my evenings helped me unwind, reflect, and recover. I turned off screens at least 30 minutes before bed. I reviewed my wins and lessons for the day. I practiced slow breathing or meditation to quiet my mind. I got into bed with intention, not exhaustion. This simple structure helped me sleep deeper, wake up clearer, and live with more rhythm and presence. Building a routine that sticks. Here's what made my routine sustainable. I started with 1 or 2 habits, not 10. I attached new habits to existing ones, like stretching after brushing my teeth. I stayed flexible. If I missed my morning, I adjusted in the afternoon. I reminded myself that routine is not about rigidity, it's about reliability. When your routine supports your values, it becomes who you are, not something you force, something you live. The discipline legacy. When you become disciplined, it doesn't just change your body, it changes your identity. It teaches you to trust yourself, to follow through, to lead your own life, to rise above excuses. Discipline makes you resilient. It makes you steady. It makes you free. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Not because you were perfect, but because you kept showing up. That's the power of discipline. That's the magic of routine. In the next chapter, we'll shift gears and explore the fascinating connection between gut health and brain health, and how your internal ecosystem could be influencing your mood, focus, and overall vitality more than you think. You've built momentum. Let's keep going. Deeper, stronger, and more aware. Chapter 11, Gut Health and the Brain-Body Link. I never used to think much about my gut, unless it felt bloated, gassy, or uncomfortable after a heavy meal. Like most people, I associated gut health with digestion and little more. But what I didn't know then was that the gut isn't just a digestive organ, it's a second brain, a command center. a mood regulator, a source of immunity, clarity, and even motivation. Once I began to understand how deeply my gut affected my energy, my cravings, and even my thoughts, I realized I couldn't truly achieve well-being without tending to this internal ecosystem. Your gut, the forgotten brain inside your gut, lives a vast and complex network of neurons, more than 100 million. This is known as the enteric nervous system, and it communicates constantly with your brain via a two-way connection called the gut-brain axis. Think of it like a high-speed data cable running between your belly and your brain. What happens in your gut affects your mood, and what happens in your mind affects your gut. Have you ever felt butterflies before a speech, lost your appetite during stress, experienced digestive issues when anxious? That's the gut-brain connection in action. The microbiome, your internal army within your digestive system, lives a community of trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses, known collectively as your microbiome. These microscopic allies play an enormous role in your health. They help digest food, extract nutrients, regulate inflammation, produce vitamins like B12 and K, and even create neurotransmitters like serotonin, the chemical responsible for feelings of happiness and calm. In fact, more than 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut, not the brain. A balanced microbiome supports mental health, sharp thinking, a strong immune system, and efficient digestion. An imbalanced one? It can lead to fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, mood swings, and poor recovery. What I noticed when I healed my gut before I focused on gut health, I thought my mood swings, sugar cravings, and brain fog were just part of life. But as I made small, intentional changes to support my digestion, I noticed something powerful. I felt lighter, not just physically, but emotionally. My cravings decreased. My focus sharpened. I wasn't on edge or irritable by midday. I started feeling in flow, and it wasn't magic. It was microbiome management. Signs your gut might be out of balance. You don't need a medical diagnosis to realize your gut might be struggling. Common signs include feeling bloated or heavy after eating, chronic fatigue or low energy, irregular bowel movements, food sensitivities, brain fog or difficulty, concentrating, skin breakouts or inflammation, frequent illness or low immunity. These symptoms may seem unrelated, but they all point back to the gut. How I rebuilt my gut health. Healing my gut didn't require extreme diets or fancy cleanses. It started with a return to real food, unprocessed, nutrient-dense, and colorful. I introduced fiber-rich vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, carrots, and beets to feed beneficial bacteria. I cut back on sugar, alcohol, and heavily processed food, which feed the bad guys. I added fermented foods like sauerkraut, kefir, yogurt, and kimchi to repopulate my gut with healthy microbes. I drank plenty of water to support digestion, and I made sure to slow down when eating, chewing thoroughly instead of rushing. These habits didn't just help my digestion. They lifted my mood, stabilized my energy, and cleared the mental fog that had once clouded my days. Stress, and the gut stress, doesn't just affect your mind. It wrecks your gut. When you're under pressure, your body shifts out of rest and digest mode and into fight or flight. This slows digestion, alters your gut bacteria, increases inflammation, and contributes to everything from constipation to leaky gut syndrome. That's why mindfulness, breath work, and emotional regulation aren't just optional. They're part of gut healing too. Calm mind, calm gut, calm life. The gut-brain future of fitness and well-being. We often think of fitness as muscles, sweat, and calories burned. But the future of true health lies deeper, at the microbial level. When your gut is thriving, your body responds with strength, your mind responds with clarity, and your habits become easier to maintain. You don't just feel better. You become better, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Trust your gut. Literally, the gut sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the gut. That means your intuition, your mood, your vitality, All of it is deeply connected to the health of your digestive system. So take care of it. Feed it real food. Reduce stress. Get quality sleep. Stay hydrated. And above all, listen to it. Your gut is not just part of your body, it's the foundation of your well-being. In the next chapter, we'll look at how to build strength without burning out, because physical transformation shouldn't come at the cost of your energy or recovery. Let's move forward strong and steady. Chapter 12. How to build strength without burning out. There was a time in my journey when I equated strength with pushing harder. More sets, more reps, heavier weights, shorter rest periods. I lived by the belief that growth required grinding. And for a while, it worked. I got stronger. I looked better. But I was also running on fumes. Eventually, the signs crept in: persistent soreness, nagging fatigue, poor sleep, and a mental fog I couldn't shake. My performance dipped. My motivation faded. I had hit a wall. That's when I learned a powerful truth. Strength is built by balance, not burnout. The myth of more is better. We live in a culture that glorifies extremes. Train like a beast. No days off. Push past the pain. While that mindset may spark discipline initially, it can also lead to exhaustion, injury, and mental fatigue if not managed wisely. The strongest athletes in the world don't train at 100% intensity every day. They cycle their efforts. They rest as seriously as they train. They build in recovery days, listen to their bodies, and know when to push and when to pull back. True strength isn't about never stopping. It's about knowing when to stop, when to slow down, and when to rebuild. Training smart versus training hard. There's nothing wrong with hard work, but smart training is what leads to sustainable growth. I had to learn the difference the hard way. Training smart means following structured programs with planned progression, respecting rest days, and understanding that every body is different. What works for someone else may not work for you. It also means recognizing that recovery is part of the workout, not separate from it. You're not lazy for taking a break. You're intelligent for letting your body adapt. Muscles grow during rest. Hormones reset during rest. Joints recover during rest. The role of progressive overload building strength requires challenge, but not chaos. The key principle is progressive overload, gradually increasing the demands you place on your muscles over time. This could mean lifting slightly more weight, doing an extra rep, improving your form, or shortening your rest intervals. The goal isn't to crush your body, but to stimulate it consistently, intentionally, and safely. I began tracking small improvements, a few extra pounds here, one more push-up there. Over time, those micro gains compounded into real, visible progress, without fatigue, frustration, or injury. Rest days are not weakness. For a long time, I treated rest days like guilt trips. I thought skipping the gym meant I was falling behind. But the truth is, rest is part of growth. Without rest, the nervous system becomes overstimulated. Muscles don't recover fully. Hormonal balance begins to decline. You become more prone to stress, cravings, and fatigue. Once I embraced rest as a tool, not a threat, my entire perspective shifted. My energy returned. My workouts became more effective. My mood stabilized. Rest days aren't wasted days. They're investment days, preparing your body for the next breakthrough. Sleep, the secret strength supplement. In earlier chapters, we explored how essential sleep is for recovery. When it comes to strength building, sleep is your most powerful performance enhancer. During deep sleep, the body releases growth hormone, repairs microtears and muscle fibers, balances cortisol, and resets your nervous system. It's not optional, it's essential. A consistent 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night makes you stronger, sharper, and more resilient, physically and mentally. If you're serious about strength, you must be serious about sleep. Fuel your strength. You can't build strength on an empty tank. Your muscles need protein to repair and grow, carbohydrates to fuel your workouts, and healthy fats to support hormones and joint health. I stopped obsessing over macros and started focusing on quality, real, whole foods, spaced evenly throughout the day. a protein-rich breakfast, a nourishing post-workout meal, hydration before, during, and after training. Nutrition isn't just fuel, it's recovery. It's strength. It's the silent force behind your progress. Signs you're overtraining. I ignored the signs for a long time. Don't make the same mistake. If you're training regularly but feeling worse, low energy, constant soreness, poor sleep, mood swings, and lack of progress, it may be time to scale back rather than push harder. Overtraining is more common than you think, especially among high achievers. Recognizing it early is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Train for life, not just for looks. The more I focused on how I felt, moved, and lived, instead of just how I looked, the more I enjoyed the process. Strength is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual. It's the ability to stay committed, adapt to life's demands, and show up fully for yourself and others. When you train for life, you train with purpose, not ego. You train to be mobile, confident, and capable, not just muscular or lean. That mindset is what sustains your journey long after external motivation fades. Strength with grace. Don't need to prove your worth in the gym. You don't need to chase someone else's physique or follow every trend. You need to listen to your body. Honor your limits. Build gradually. Rest deeply. Fuel intentionally. That's how you build real, lasting strength without burning out. In the next chapter, we'll explore the eternal debate, cardio versus weights, and what truly matters when your goal is a balanced, healthy, and vibrant body. You're already becoming stronger in every sense of the word. Let's keep building. Chapter 13. Cardio versus weights, what truly matters. For the longest time, the fitness debate was reduced to a binary choice, cardio or weights. I remember countless conversations where people argued that one was the sole answer to health, the only way to look fit, or the ultimate secret to longevity. I, too, once believed that more cardio meant more heart health, and that heavier weights would automatically sculpt the perfect body. But along the way, I discovered that focusing solely on cardio versus weights misses the bigger picture. The true path to fitness doesn't lie in choosing one over the other. It lies in understanding what each mode of exercise offers and how they both contribute to a balanced, resilient, and vibrant body. Beyond the binary. When I first started my fitness journey, I thought I had to choose a side, run miles daily, or pump iron, until I could no longer lift a barbell. But after years of trial and error, I learned that both forms of exercise serve unique purposes. Cardio builds endurance, boosts heart health, and burns calories. Weights build muscle, strengthen bones, and enhance metabolic efficiency. The truth is, they're not adversaries, but powerful allies that work together to create a holistic approach to fitness. The benefits of cardio has long been celebrated for its cardiovascular benefits. Running, cycling, swimming, or dancing elevate your heart rate, which improves circulation and conditions your cardiovascular system. Increased blood flow not only delivers oxygen more efficiently, but also flushes out toxins, lowers blood pressure, and even sharpens mental focus. Cardio also plays a vital role in managing stress by triggering the release of endorphins, your body's natural mood lifters, helping you feel more energetic and positive throughout the day. The strength of weights. Weights, on the other hand, offer a different kind of empowerment. Resistance training strengthens muscles and bones, which is essential not only for physical appearance but also for daily function and injury prevention. When you lift weights, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers, and as they repair, your muscles grow stronger. This process not only boosts strength, but also increases your resting metabolic rate, allowing you to burn more calories even when you're not working out. Moreover, weight training plays a significant role in metabolic health by regulating blood sugar and hormone levels. Finding your personal balance, the real question isn't cardio or weights, but rather, what does your body need? Your unique fitness goals, preferences, and lifestyle should guide your approach. For some, a cardio-dominant routine may improve endurance and stress relief. For others, a weight-focused schedule might build strength and structure. In many cases, blending both cardio and weights results in improved overall fitness, blending the benefits of endurance with muscular resilience. In my own experience, alternating between running and resistance training provided me with balanced energy, improved physical performance, and a sense of well-being that surpassed any single discipline approach. Integration for optimal results. Instead of adhering to extremes, I learned to integrate cardio and weights into a seamless routine. For instance, I began with a warm-up of light cardio to increase blood flow, followed by focused weight training to build strength, and finished with moderate cardio or stretching to aid recovery and cool down. This integrated approach not only optimized my workouts, but also helped me develop a versatile, adaptable fitness strategy. Over time, I noticed improvements in endurance, strength, and overall health that were greater than what either discipline could provide alone. The key is to listen to your body. There are days when you might need a longer cardio session to boost endurance or manage stress. And there are days when your body craves the challenge of resistance training. The beauty of fitness lies in its ability to be molded according to your needs, your goals, and your life's rhythms. What truly matters at its core, fitness is about more than just burning calories or building muscle. It's about nurturing your body, supporting your mental health, and fostering a life of balance and energy. Whether you lean more toward cardio, weights, or a balanced combination, focus on the benefits: improved health, increased confidence, better sleep, and enhanced quality of life. Ultimately, your commitment to movement in whatever form is what truly matters. In embracing both cardio and weights, I learned that the journey to true fitness is not a battle between disciplines, but a celebration of all the ways your body can move, grow, and thrive. In the next chapter, we'll shift our focus to an essential aspect of fitness beyond the physical realm: the profound connection between fitness and self-image, and how it transforms confidence and inner strength. Chapter 14. How fitness affects self-image and confidence. When I first began my fitness journey, my goals were simple: get stronger, look better, feel healthier. But what I didn't expect was how deeply those changes would affect the way I saw myself, not just in the mirror, but in the world. Fitness didn't just transform my body. It transformed my self-image, my energy, my posture, my presence, and my belief in who I could become. Before fitness, I used to shrink in rooms. I didn't feel like I belonged in conversations. I avoided eye contact. I walked with slouched shoulders and spoke with hesitation. And none of that had anything to do with muscles or weight. It had everything to do with confidence, or the lack of it. Self-image is the root of how we live. How you see yourself determines how you show up. If you see yourself as weak, you move through life cautiously. If you see yourself as strong, you make decisions with certainty. If you feel capable in your body, you speak with clarity. You take up space. You act with purpose. Fitness teaches you to trust yourself again. The first time I finished a difficult workout, I felt something shift. It wasn't just physical, it was internal. It was a whisper that said, "You can do hard things." Over time, that whisper grew louder. I began to believe in myself in ways I hadn't before, not because I looked different, but because I kept promises to myself. The mirror is not the whole story. Let's be honest. Physical transformation is motivating. Seeing muscles where there once was softness, fitting into clothes you thought you'd outgrown, watching your posture straighten and your skin glow. It's empowering. But the mirror only tells part of the story. True confidence isn't just built by how you look. It's built by the discipline, the resilience, and the mindset that fitness develops. The real transformation happens when you go from saying, "I can't," to "I just did." When you stop hiding behind excuses and start proving yourself wrong in the best way possible, that inner shift is more powerful than any before and after photo. Body positivity and strength. One of the most beautiful revelations I had was that fitness doesn't have to be about aesthetics. It can be about appreciation. I began to see my body not as something to criticize, but as something to celebrate. A living, breathing, adapting machine that had carried me through pain, through setbacks, through doubt, and was still showing up. Every drop of sweat, every completed set, every stretch and breath, it was an act of self-love. I no longer worked out to punish my body. I worked out to honor it. That simple mindset change rewired everything, from how I spoke to myself to how I carried myself around others. The confidence ripple effect. When your self-image changes, so does your life. You speak with more certainty. You set clearer boundaries. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You become someone people notice, not because you're loud, but because your energy speaks first. Confidence built through fitness doesn't just show up in the gym. It shows up in meetings, relationships, interviews, and social settings. It becomes the foundation of how you pursue goals, bounce back from setbacks, and take ownership of your life. Fitness taught me that confidence isn't given, it's earned. Fitness is a mirror for identity. Every workout is a reflection of something deeper. It's not just your body getting stronger, it's your identity reshaping. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start becoming someone who follows through. You stop being the person who waits and start being the person who acts. That shift is where self-image evolves and confidence is born. You don't need to be fit to feel worthy, but fitness reminds you that you are. Let's be clear, confidence doesn't require a six-pack. Worth doesn't require visible abs. But moving your body, fueling it well, and showing up consistently remind you that you are capable, resilient, and deserving of a better life. Fitness isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about proving to yourself day after day that you can become who you once thought you couldn't. And once you see yourself through that lens, your confidence becomes unshakable, not because of what you look like, but because of who you've become. In the next chapter, we'll explore how fitness is not just a short-term goal, but a lifestyle that supports longevity, and how you can age with strength, grace, and vitality. Chapter 15. Longevity through lifestyle. We all want to live longer, but what most people truly desire is to live well for longer. It's not just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. I've met people in their 20s who feel old, tired, stiff, disconnected, and I've met people in their 60s who radiate energy, move freely, and live with purpose. The difference? It's not genetics, it's not luck, it's lifestyle. Fitness isn't just about the next 12 weeks. It's about the next 20, 30, even 40 years. And the choices you make today, what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, how you sleep, are all signals you send to your future self. Longevity isn't an accident. It's built, one intentional day at a time. The science of living longer, healthier research consistently shows that healthy lifestyle habits can delay or even prevent chronic diseases. Heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, cognitive decline, and more. But what's even more powerful is how these habits affect your health span, the number of years you live free of disease, pain, or dependency. In places called blue zones, regions of the world where people regularly live past 100, certain common lifestyle patterns emerge: daily movement, real food, strong community, stress management, a sense of purpose, and rest. None of them are chasing extremes. They're simply living in alignment with nature and their bodies. And that's where real longevity begins. Why movement is the key to staying young. If there's one longevity habit to master, it's consistent daily movement. Not just workouts, but walking, stretching, playing, gardening, dancing. When you move, you maintain joint flexibility, bone density, muscle mass, balance, and coordination. These are the very things that help people avoid injuries, stay independent, and live vibrant lives well into old age. I no longer train just for looks or performance. I train so I can carry my own groceries at 70, travel without discomfort, run with future grandchildren, and feel sharp and strong as I age. Strength, mobility, and energy aren't just for youth. They're for life. food that fuels longevity. You don't need a complicated diet to live longer. You need real, unprocessed, nutrient-rich food that supports your cells, your brain, and your immune system. Whole fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, lean proteins, nuts, seeds, and fermented foods provide antioxidants, fiber, and micronutrients that fight inflammation, the root of aging and disease. What I've learned is that consistency beats perfection. It's not about never having sugar or skipping a meal. It's about having more days that nourish than harm, more meals that heal than inflame. Your plate is your pharmacy. Choose wisely. The silent killers, stress, and sedentary living stress speeds up aging, physically and mentally. It shortens your telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA, raises inflammation, weakens your immune system, and drains your energy. Sedentary behavior has been called the new smoking for a reason. Long periods of sitting are linked to heart disease, obesity, and early death, even if you work out regularly. That's why I focus on micro-movements and micro-mindfulness, taking breaks to stretch, going for walks, breathing deeply, releasing tension, staying connected to the present moment. Longevity isn't a sprint, it's a rhythm, a way of living with more ease, intention, and movement. Relationships and purpose, the inner fuel. What surprised me most while studying longevity wasn't a supplement or a workout. It was connection. Strong relationships, a sense of purpose, belonging, and emotional support all play a massive role in long-term health. Loneliness is now considered as damaging as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. This is why community matters. Service matters. Being part of something bigger than yourself matters. Your body thrives when your spirit is nourished and your heart feels seen. Designing a life that lasts, I no longer chase trends or short-term wins. I build routines and habits that my future self will thank me for. Early bedtime, daily walks, stretching after training, balanced meals, hydration, laughter, rest, kindness, stillness, progress. When you see fitness not as a phase, but as a lifestyle, a way of caring for yourself, you stop fighting your body and start thriving in it. And suddenly, aging doesn't feel scary. It feels empowering. Longevity is earned one day at a time. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis or a wake-up call to start living longer and better. You just need to start today, with one step, one breath, one better choice. Age is just a number. Vitality is a decision. And every time you move, eat well, rest deeply, love fully, and breathe intentionally, you add time, not just to your years, but to your quality of life. That's the gift of fitness. That's the reward of a life well lived. In the next chapter, we'll explore how modern tools like biohacking and natural optimization can take your strength, focus, and recovery to the next level, without shortcuts or gimmicks. Chapter 16. Biohacking the Body Naturally. When I first heard the word biohacking, I imagined tech-obsessed entrepreneurs injecting themselves with strange substances, wearing sci-fi gadgets, and tracking every heartbeat with military precision. But as I dug deeper, I discovered a different side of biohacking, one that aligned perfectly with my lifestyle. Not extreme, not artificial, but rooted in natural rhythms, science, and self-awareness. At its core, biohacking means making small, intentional changes to your environment and daily habits to improve your body's performance, energy, focus, and longevity. It's the art of working with your biology, not against it. And the best part? You don't need expensive devices, supplements, or futuristic tools. The most powerful biohacks are free, natural, and accessible to everyone. Your body is already a supercomputer. Your body is intelligent beyond measure. It's constantly processing signals from light, food, temperature, movement, and emotion, and adjusting in real time. Biohacking is about learning to send better signals so your body performs at its best. Think of it like tuning an instrument. You don't need to change the instrument, you just need to adjust the strings. That's what I began doing, tuning my body to sleep deeper, digest better, recover faster, and think clearer. Not with shortcuts. With simple, consistent practices backed by science. Sunlight, the original biohack. One of the most powerful ways to reset your biology is with natural light. Exposing your eyes and skin to early morning sunlight helps regulate your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs your sleep, hormones, and metabolism. Just 10 to 15 minutes of natural sunlight within an hour of waking can improve melatonin production at night, boost serotonin levels during the day, and enhance mood and energy. I made this part of my routine, stepping outside each morning, phone-free, grounding myself in light and presence. The effect was immediate: better sleep, clearer thinking, and a calmer nervous system. Cold and heat exposure nature gives us powerful stressors that, when used intentionally, can build resilience and stimulate recovery. Cold exposure, like cold showers or brief ice baths, activates brown fat, boosts metabolism, reduces inflammation, and sharpens mental clarity. I started with 30 seconds at the end of my shower and gradually built up. It wasn't easy, but it was invigorating. Heat exposure, like saunas or hot baths, improves circulation, helps detoxification, relaxes muscles, and supports cardiovascular health. After training, I'd take 10 to 20 minutes in heat, followed by a cool rinse. The deep relaxation was unlike anything else. These natural stressors teach your body to adapt, repair, and grow stronger. Grounding and nature connection, walking barefoot on natural ground, grass, sand, soil, has been shown to reduce inflammation, improve sleep, and calm the nervous system by balancing the body's electrical charge. It may sound like pseudoscience, but the data is compelling. I started grounding in parks, beaches, even just a patch of grass in the garden. No phone, no distractions, just presence. It grounded more than my feet. It grounded my mind. Reconnecting with nature reminds the body of its original environment, restorative, slow, and alive. Time-restricted eating. Instead of obsessing over calories, I focused on when I ate. Time-restricted eating, or intermittent fasting, allows your digestive system to rest, helps regulate insulin levels, and supports cellular repair through a process called autophagy. I experimented with eating all my meals within an 8 to 10 hour window during the day, allowing my body to fast overnight. Not every day, not rigidly, but enough to feel the benefits: lighter digestion, more sustained energy, and better mental focus. Biohacking isn't starvation, it's alignment. It's learning when your body thrives best and respecting that. Breath as a Control Panel. In Chapter 9, we explored breathwork as recovery. But from a biohacking perspective, your breath is also a regulator of your entire physiology. I practiced slow nasal breathing to improve oxygen efficiency. Before workouts, I used energizing breath patterns. During stress, I slowed my exhales to calm my heart rate. You can change your state in 60 seconds without a supplement, screen, or stimulant. That's real power. Sleep optimization. Sleep is the original recovery tool. I began biohacking my sleep environment to support deep rest. I kept my room cool, around 18 degrees Celsius, blocked out all light, eliminated screen time an hour before bed, and used calming rituals like breathwork or magnesium-rich foods in the evening. The result? I woke up earlier, sharper, and more motivated. Sleep became sacred, not negotiable. No magic pills, just better habits. There are thousands of biohacks out there, but I learned that simplicity wins. No gadget can replace the impact of consistent natural rhythms, clean nutrition, movement, sunlight, connection, and breath. The real biohack is living intentionally, with awareness, and in harmony with your body's needs. You are the experiment, and the result. Biohacking isn't about copying someone else's protocol. It's about tuning into your own feedback loops. What energizes you? What drains you? What foods leave you bloated? What habits sharpen your mind? Track how you feel. Adjust. Refine. This is your laboratory and your life. And over time, you'll realize you don't need more products. You need more presence. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to rewire your habits, thoughts, and behaviors for long-term success by turning short-term effort into lasting identity change. Chapter 17. Rewiring Habits That Stick. We all have that moment of fire, the surge of motivation to change, to start fresh, to turn a new page. Maybe it's the new year, a birthday, a wake-up call from the doctor, or just a quiet realization that it's time to live differently. But what separates those who stay on the path from those who slide back into old patterns? The answer isn't willpower, it's habits, and more importantly, how those habits are wired into our identity. I've been there. I've started strong and then drifted, promised myself I'd be consistent, only to give up a week later. It wasn't because I was lazy. It was because I hadn't rewired my behavior at the deepest level. Real transformation happens when new actions become part of who you are, not just what you do. Habits are your life on autopilot. Research shows that nearly 40% of our daily actions are habitual. That means almost half of your day is driven by what your body and brain have learned to do on repeat, without conscious thought. These habits are built through a simple neurological loop: cue, craving, response, and reward. For example, you wake up, cue, you want energy, craving. You reach for your phone or a coffee, response, and you get a dopamine hit, reward. Over time, this loop becomes automatic. And whether it serves you or sabotages you depends on how it was formed and whether it gets replaced. Start with identity, not outcomes. Most people try to change by focusing on outcomes. I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to go to the gym 5 times a week. I want to stop eating sugar. And over time, you'll realize you don't need more products. You need more presence. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to rewire your habits, thoughts, and behaviors for long-term success by turning short-term effort into lasting identity change. But lasting change doesn't come from chasing results. It comes from shifting your identity, the way you see yourself. Instead of saying, I want to be fit, say, I am someone who prioritizes health. Instead of, I want to stop eating junk, say, I don't eat what drains my energy. You act in alignment with who you believe you are. So if you want habits to stick, you need to become the kind of person who lives that way, not temporarily, but permanently. The 2-minute rule that changed everything. One of the most helpful tools I discovered was the 2-minute rule. When forming a new habit, start so small that it takes less than 2 minutes to complete. Want to start exercising? Put on your workout clothes and stretch for 2 minutes. Want to start journaling? Write 1 sentence. Want to read more? Open the book and read 1 paragraph. Why? Because starting is the hardest part, and success is built on repetition, not intensity. Once you start, momentum often carries you further. But even if you stop at 2 minutes, you're proving to your brain, this is who I am now. Make it obvious, easy, and rewarding for a habit to stick. It must be noticeable, accessible, and satisfying. I began placing my water bottle where I could see it. I laid out my workout clothes the night before. I created a space that made good habits automatic. I celebrated small wins, not with food or indulgence, but with quiet pride and reflection. These simple changes made healthy habits feel natural instead of forced. And over time, they stuck. Stacking habits for long-term success. Another powerful technique I used was habit stacking, linking a new habit to one I already did. After brushing my teeth, I would do 10 squats. After making coffee, I would write in my journal. After parking my car, I would take 5 deep breaths. This turned new behaviors into part of my daily rhythm. I didn't need to find extra time. I simply restructured the time I already had. Environment shapes behavior. Your environment is often more powerful than your willpower. I learned that if my kitchen was filled with processed snacks, I would eventually eat them. If my living room was cluttered, my mind felt cluttered too. If my phone was the first thing I saw in the morning, my peace of mind was gone before the day even started. So I started redesigning my space. I kept nutritious food within reach. I put books beside my bed instead of screens. I placed my workout gear in plain sight. My environment began nudging me, quietly, consistently, toward better choices. Tracking, reflecting, and repeating progress can be invisible when it happens gradually. That's why I began tracking it: my workouts, sleep, mood, hydration, and focus. Sometimes it was just a tick on a notepad or a note in my phone, but seeing the pattern motivated me to keep going. It also helped me reflect. Why did I feel better this week? What changed? What worked? What didn't? Tracking wasn't about control. It was about clarity. Give yourself grace. But don't quit. You will have days where things fall apart. You'll skip a workout. You'll eat something that doesn't align. You'll feel off. That's not failure. It's being human. But missing one day is just a slip. Letting it spiral into a week or a month is what stops momentum. The secret is to come back quickly, calmly, without shame. I stopped waiting for the next Monday to restart. I restarted the next moment. That's how habits stick. Your habits shape your future. Every time you follow through on a habit, no matter how small, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Eventually, those votes add up, not just to results, but to a new reality. You're no longer someone trying to be healthy. You are healthy. You're no longer chasing discipline. You are disciplined. The behavior becomes identity, and that's where transformation becomes permanent. In the next chapter, we'll take this momentum and channel it into one of the most powerful tools I've discovered for building clarity, structure, and focus: your morning ritual. Chapter 18. Building a morning ritual. I used to wake up reactive, checking my phone before I even got out of bed, racing through the morning, already behind before the day had started. My mind felt scattered, my energy was low, and my days often followed that same chaotic rhythm. That all changed when I discovered the power of a morning ritual. A morning ritual isn't just about routines. It's about ownership. It's about choosing how your day begins, before the world chooses it for you. It's your first decision, your first discipline, and your first investment in yourself. Once I created a simple, intentional morning ritual, my productivity, energy, and mindset shifted dramatically. I didn't just feel better, I became better, more focused, more grounded, more in control of my time and goals. Why mornings matter more than you think. Science and psychology both support this truth. The way you start your day influences everything that follows. When you begin in a rush, your cortisol spikes. Your decisions become reactive. Your creativity dims. You chase your day instead of leading it. But when you begin with calm, clarity, and structure, you train your brain to respond rather than react. You enter the day from a place of strength, not survival. A solid morning ritual builds momentum, and momentum builds mastery. Crafting the ideal morning without overwhelm, your morning ritual doesn't need to be long or complicated. It just needs to be intentional. It should include activities that energize your body, sharpen your mind, and nourish your spirit. In the next chapter, we'll take this momentum and channel it into one of the most powerful tools I've discovered for building clarity, structure, and focus: your morning ritual. When I designed mine, I focused on 5 simple practices that created flow and balance: stillness, movement, fuel, focus, and intention. Stillness: begin with inner peace. Instead of grabbing my phone, I start in stillness. For just a few minutes, I sit in quiet. No noise, no stimulation, just presence. Sometimes I meditate. Sometimes I breathe deeply. Sometimes I simply give thanks for waking up. This short moment sets the tone. I am in control of my day. Not the world, not the news, not my inbox. Me. Movement. Activate the body next. I wake up my body. It could be a few stretches, a short walk, or some light mobility drills. This isn't about burning calories. It's about activating circulation, loosening stiffness, and connecting to the physical vessel I'll carry all day. Even a couple of deep squats or yoga poses can shift my energy from sluggish to alert. Fuel, hydrate, and nourish. Before caffeine, I drink water, sometimes with lemon or sea salt, to rehydrate after sleep and jumpstart digestion. Then I choose a light, nourishing breakfast with protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Fueling my body early stabilizes my blood sugar, improves cognitive performance, and reduces cravings throughout the day. Focus. Set your mind for success. This is where I feed my mind. I might read a page from a book, review a quote, or listen to something uplifting. I want positive input before anything else enters my mental space. Even a few moments of focused content elevates my mindset, attitude, and ambition. Intention. Choose the direction of your day. Finally, I take a moment to set a clear intention. It might be a word, a goal, or a quiet decision about how I want to feel or what I want to accomplish. This gives direction. I no longer drift. I decide. When I anchor my morning with intention, I show up differently. I lead my day. The first hour wins the day the world is full of noise. A morning ritual acts as your shield, your center, your reset button. It doesn't have to be perfect. There are mornings I oversleep, mornings I skip a step. But the point isn't perfection. It's consistency. Even if you can only do 5 minutes, do it. Repetition beats intensity. Identity is shaped in the first hour. Start simple. Stay consistent. If you're building your ritual from scratch, begin with just one small action. Sit in stillness for a minute. Drink a glass of water. Write down something you're grateful for. Move your body gently. Choose one priority for your day. Do it every morning. Stack slowly. Let the routine evolve with you. This isn't a task. It's a foundation for the life you want to build. Your morning, your mirror, how you wake up is often a mirror of how you're living. If your mornings are rushed, reactive, and stressful, your life often follows suit. But if your mornings are grounded, grateful, and intentional, you begin to live from a place of power. My morning ritual isn't about checking boxes. It's about remembering who I am, what I value, and how I want to show up for myself and for others. Every sunrise is a chance to start again, to reclaim your direction, to build the life you're meant to live, one morning at a time. Chapter 19. The Joy of Simplicity in Fitness. There was a time in my life when fitness felt like pressure, endless information, complex training plans, expensive supplements, high-tech wearables. I thought getting fit meant I had to do it all, know it all, and spend it all. But over time, I realized something powerful. The body doesn't crave complexity, it craves consistency. And with that realization, something incredible happened. I stripped it all back. I simplified. And in that simplicity, I found joy, freedom, and results far better than anything I'd achieved with a hyper-complicated approach. The illusion of more modern fitness culture thrives on more intensity, more apps, more gear, more options. But the more I chased complexity, the more overwhelmed I felt. I saw people spend hours on YouTube searching for the perfect workout, comparing programs, buying equipment they barely used. They weren't getting healthier. They were getting more stressed. The truth is, fitness doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be done. The greatest bodies, minds, and levels of health were built on the basics. Walks, push-ups, squats, stretching, real food, deep sleep, and clear water. Simple, sustainable, effective. What simplicity looks like, I return to the foundations. Short daily workouts, bodyweight movements, outdoor walks, unprocessed food, early bedtimes. No apps, no fancy gym. Just me, my body, and a decision. 20-minute walk after meals. A few rounds of push-ups and squats each morning. Deep breathing before bed. Cooking my own meals instead of counting macros. It wasn't dramatic, but it was doable. And that made all the difference. Because when it's simple, you keep showing up. The science of simplicity, science supports it. Consistency trumps intensity. Simpler routines lead to better adherence. Body weight training activates major muscle groups effectively. Walking lowers blood pressure, reduces stress, and improves fat metabolism. Unprocessed food leads to improved gut health, hormone balance, and mental clarity. You don't need 90-minute workouts. You need a plan that fits your life. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. You don't need to punish your body. You need to partner with it. Joy comes from mastery, not novelty in the past. I'd jump from one plan to another. always looking for the next big breakthrough. But the real joy came when I committed to the basics and mastered them. I started enjoying my workouts again. I didn't dread them. I didn't overthink them. I just did them. They became a part of my life, not a project to complete, but a rhythm to enjoy. Fitness became my moving meditation, my reset, my reminder that I am strong, alive, and in motion. Simplicity lowers the barrier. When fitness is simple, it becomes accessible. You can train at home. You can eat well on a budget. You can get healthy without a subscription. Simplicity removes the excuses. No gym? No problem. No time? 5 minutes is enough to start. No experience? Start walking, stretching, or breathing. That's all it takes. Small, consistent actions outperform big, inconsistent ones every time. Build a life, not just a body. Fitness is not about having the most shredded physique. It's about creating a body and mind that allow you to live fully, to run with your kids, to travel with ease, to climb stairs without pain, to sleep deeply, to think clearly, to feel alive. And the simpler your approach, the more likely you'll stay on the path long enough to experience all those benefits. Rediscovering joy. When I simplified my fitness, I rediscovered joy. Joy in feeling light on my feet. Joy in stretching without stiffness. Joy in cooking my own meals. Joy in walking under the sky. Joy in feeling capable, strong, and steady. Fitness became less about chasing something and more about honoring myself. You don't need to overcomplicate health. You just need to come back to what's real, natural, and sustainable. Simplicity isn't laziness. It's wisdom. It's the decision to stop chasing and start living. To move your body, eat real food, sleep well, and enjoy the process. Because in the end, it's not the most complex plan that changes your life. It's the one you can stick to. And that plan, more often than not, is beautifully simple. Chapter 20. Creating your personalized fitness and well-being plan. You've made it this far, and by now you've uncovered the principles that make a real difference. Movement, mindset, nourishment, rest, simplicity, and self-awareness. But now comes the most important step of all, turning this wisdom into your daily reality. Because reading, learning, and watching can inspire you, but only action transforms you. This chapter is your invitation to create your own plan, one that works for your body, your schedule, and your goals. Not someone else's version of health, yours. Why personalization matters. There is no single plan that works for everyone. What works for a 25-year-old athlete may not suit a 50-year-old office worker. A plan that works for your best friend might burn you out. Your body has its own rhythm. Your mind has its own challenges. Your life has its own demands. That's why real well-being comes from self-tuning. Learning to listen to your body, to adjust based on results, and to make small choices that stack up over time. The best plan is the one you'll actually follow. That means it should be simple, flexible, and aligned with what gives you energy, not what drains it. Step 1. Define your why before anything else. Ask yourself this: why do I want to be fit and well? Is it to live longer? To have energy for your kids? To feel confident again? To reduce your anxiety? To sleep better? To wake up pain-free? Your reason is the engine behind your routine. When motivation fades, and it will, your why is what brings you back. Write it down. Make it specific. Read it often. Step 2. Choose your core pillars. Every plan needs structure. Use the foundational pillars we've explored in this book to build your base, movement. Choose 3 to 5 days each week to move your body. This could be a mix of walking, strength training, stretching, yoga, or sports. Keep it enjoyable. Keep it consistent. Nutrition. Focus on whole foods, hydration, and balanced meals. No need to count calories. Just eat with awareness. Prioritize natural, colorful, unprocessed options that fuel your energy. Sleep. Set a bedtime window and a wind-down routine. Guard your sleep like a sacred appointment. Mindset. Incorporate breathwork, journaling, or mindfulness practices. Start small. Even 5 minutes in the morning or evening is enough to recenter. Recovery. Include at least one full rest day per week. Embrace active recovery, walking, foam rolling, or gentle movement to let your body reset. You don't have to do everything at once. Begin with one habit in each category and layer in more as you go. Step 3. Design a weekly template. Now bring it to life. Create a visual plan for the week ahead. Block out 15 to 60 minutes a day for your fitness and well-being. Even if your schedule is packed, protect this time. Treat it like a non-negotiable meeting with your future self. Here's a simple format you can adapt. Monday, strength plus journaling Tuesday, walk plus light stretching Wednesday, rest or mobility plus breath work. Thursday, cardio hit or steady plus hydration focus Friday, strength plus sleep optimization. No screens after 9 p.m. Saturday, outdoor movement or sports Sunday. Rest plus planning plus mindset reset. Make it your own. If all you have is 10 minutes, use it well. Small rituals, done daily, create massive change. Step 4. Track progress and adjust. Keep a simple record. Nothing fancy. Use a notebook, a habit tracker app, or a calendar. Track what you did, how you felt, and what you noticed. You'll begin to see patterns. You'll learn what gives you energy and what depletes you. You'll notice which habits stick and which need adjusting. This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Progress isn't always visible in the mirror. Sometimes it's in your mood, your sleep, your patience, or your ability to bounce back from stress. Step 5. Reinforce with rituals. Tie your fitness and wellness actions to anchors in your day. Wake-up time, meal times, or bedtime. This keeps your plan from floating and gives it structure. Morning rituals, like stretching or journaling, prepare your mindset. Evening rituals, like turning off screens and sipping herbal tea, prime your body for rest. These small rituals are where habits come alive. Step 6. Reflect weekly every Sunday. Take 5 to 10 minutes to reflect. What worked this week? What felt easy? What felt forced? What will you change next week? Write down a few wins. Even better, write down how you felt. Fitness isn't just physical. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual. Weekly reflection transforms your plan from mechanical to meaningful. You're not just ticking boxes. You're building a better life. Your plan, your legacy. This isn't just about abs, numbers, or checklists. It's about crafting a lifestyle that supports who you are and who you're becoming. You are the architect of your energy, your joy, and your resilience. Every choice you make shapes your health, and every healthy habit you keep brings you closer to your full potential. This plan isn't final. It's evolving, just like you. So start simple. Start today, and build a life you're proud of. One decision, one step, one breath at a time. Chapter 21. Final thoughts. If you've reached this point, it means you've done more than read a book. You've taken a journey inward, a journey towards strength, clarity, and self-respect. Along the way, we've stripped away the noise, the fads, and the unrealistic expectations. We've replaced them with something far more powerful: simplicity, sustainability, and truth. You now know that fitness is not a punishment for your past, but a gift to your future. It's not about looking like someone else. It's about becoming the strongest, most vibrant version of yourself. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience, whatever your past has been. Stop-start attempts, years of neglect, or overwhelming stress. It doesn't matter. Every moment you've lived has brought you to this one. Now, you are equipped. You've seen the science. You've heard the stories. You've felt the spark of what's possible. You are no longer confused. You are no longer stuck. You are aware, and that awareness is everything. Progress, not perfection. One of the biggest traps in health and fitness is thinking you must be perfect. That one missed workout, one indulgent meal, or one bad week erases everything. That's a lie. This is not about streaks. It's about resilience, about choosing yourself again and again, no matter how many times you fall. Progress is not linear. It's layered. It happens in micro shifts. in better choices, in how quickly you bounce back, and how gently you speak to yourself when you struggle. Give yourself grace, but never give up. Fitness is a lifestyle, not a phase. You are not on a 30-day challenge. You are not chasing temporary results. You are building a new standard for how you treat your body, mind, and spirit. There is no finish line, only growth, learning, and evolving. And when you embrace that, everything changes. You stop obsessing. You start living. You sleep better. You move more. You eat with intention. You think more clearly. You respond instead of reacting. You become aligned, energized, free. You are the investment. At the end of the day, your health is the foundation beneath your dreams. Your energy is your currency. Your discipline is your leverage. Your clarity is your compass. We spend time, energy, and money chasing things that give us moments of pleasure. But well-being gives you a lifetime of power. You can't outsource it. You can't fake it. You must build it. And now you know how. You have everything you need right now, in this moment. You have everything you need to begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life is less busy. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need a decision, a willingness to take that first step, and then another, and then another. Fitness and well-being are not about being extreme. They are about being intentional, consistent, honest, and patient with yourself as you grow. This is just the beginning. Let this book be your starting point, not your final destination. Come back to these pages when you feel lost. Reread the chapters when you need motivation. Remind yourself of the core truths when the world tries to pull you off course. And most importantly, share this wisdom. Help others feel strong. Help someone feel seen. Help someone else believe they can change too. Because when we rise in health, we rise in every area of life. And when you take care of yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Live it. Own it. Be it. You have one body, one mind, one life. Make it vibrant. Make it powerful. Make it meaningful. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are ready. Let your life reflect that. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. I hope this book is more than information. It's a companion on your path to lifelong vitality and peace. Now go forward. Move with purpose. Breathe deeply. Eat mindfully. Rest fully. Live boldly. And remember, discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Choose the weight that builds you.